Let me start saying this. Like once the greatest said, the man today who sees the world the same way as he did 20 years back, that man hasn't learned a thing. That man has missed 20 years of learning. As people, we ought to evolve. We ought to evolve. Sometimes I look at some of my posts on social media and I cringe a bit because either my views have changed and I can't believe that it was me who said those things that I've said. Sometimes I look at the post and say, yo, I was angry then. Yeah, we evolve all the time. And then you learn from different people, from different people. I've heard recently some of the scholars saying when they define human beings, they will say we are infinite possibilities. Well, I agree with that. I normally would refer to myself as a limitless being, but only trapped in my own experiences, be it as a black person, an African, whatever definition, that is out there or I choose at a particular point in time. But I'm not limited to one particular definition. That's why I remember, I told one comrade friend of mine, I said to him, I used to belong to Pan-Africanism, define myself as black consciousness, African, socialist, internationalist. But years back, I evolved and I said to myself, you know what? I am not a socialist, I am not a capitalist. And by the way, it doesn't mean that if you don't like Real Madrid or you're not a fan of Real Madrid, you're a friend or a fan of Barcelona. It doesn't mean if you're not a socialist, you're a capitalist. You could be just nothing, like I am. I agree with whatever that agrees with me. If it disagrees with me, I also disagree with it. Simple and straightforward. Simple and straightforward. But unfortunately, in this world, there are frequencies. People choose to tune in to certain frequencies, or they are groomed, to tune in to certain frequencies. Be it the frequency of race, ideology, religion, where you find people saying, I'm a Christian, I'm a Muslim, I'm a Baptist. But one thing that I've learned from the 12th Apostolic Church, my parents' church, they used to say ngesizulu, umuntu akafi, ushiya inyama. Which means that a human being or a person does not die. You only live this physical form or physical realm. But our lives are continuous, like we have learned from our great ancestors in Sudan, the Nile, from the San people. Our people, they were always buried with certain equipment, tools that they were going to use in the next life, which means that human beings are continuous. And when you assume a spiritual realm or spiritual form, your race won't matter. That's what I like to believe, that when you reach the other side, your ideology will not matter. You'll evolve into something else. I don't know. But I believe that human beings are continuous. You don't just die and it's the end. I don't believe that we just die. I believe that we multiply, we evolve. This life is a journey, and it's beyond this physical realm. Yeah. As I said, majority of the people, they choose titles. Uzumuntu, I'm an advocate, I'm a doctor. And therefore, that person assumes that identity, becomes a doctor. For me, I'm beyond that. I believe that these titles are imposed on us by people who voluntarily group themselves, and then they decide that for you to become, you're going to have to go through them. They ordain you, and you now become a pastor. Now, I don't believe in that. Yes, for order to prevail in the country, maybe that is necessary, but human beings are beyond their titles. If I'm an advocate, a lawyer, law or the law profession is what I do, but it's not me. I'm beyond that. That's why I normally tell people this, that listen, if I were to collapse here, drop down, you probably would know what to do to resuscitate me. You'd know, what medical measures to apply to revive me. You may win, you may lose, like it happens every day in our hospitals. If I need a legal advice, you may not be professionally trained as a lawyer, but your common sense, what you have learned, it will tell you, you know what, here you need to do 1, 2, 3, here you don't know, go and consult. Like many lawyers, they will tell you, based on their experience, what they have learned, where they don't know, they will consult. Psychologists, the same. If I came to you and I ask you, Mane, just give me an opinion. I'm feeling like this and this, or I'm feeling low. You'd probably ask the relevant questions, give me solutions according to your psychological understanding or analysis. Therefore, it makes you a psychologist, but you're waiting for people to pronounce you or ordain you. Yes, I understand how government work, bodies, regulatory framework and stuff like that, for order to prevail. But as human beings, we are not limited to definitions. I'm just having a black experience. But I'm more than that. Unfortunately, on the frequency of skin color, I meet other people, on the level of race. They will define me. Therefore, I'm forced to respond on that frequency, on that level. But I'm beyond that. It's like somebody calling me kafir or whatever, Sometimes I ignore that because I realize that, I'm beyond that. I ignore that if I could. But there are some people who will create stumbling blocks because of this definition, that they have chosen for themselves. So they want to impose certain definitions on you. If someone is a Muslim, you say, no, I'm nothing. I'm not a Christian. I'm not Hindu. Then it defines you as an unbeliever. Therefore, it treats you as such. I don't have a problem with that. But if someone is shutting down opportunities that are due to you because of the definition that he has assumed for himself and therefore defining you in terms of his religion or culture, then I have a problem. I have to fight that person on that frequency. But in a nutshell, I believe that human beings are beyond these definitions, these earthly definitions that you find here on earth. I've said in one of my videos, I'm a limitless being. But sometimes people, they treat me on a certain frequency. Therefore, I'm forced to on a political frequency, I'm forced to respond in accordance. And these earthly definitions, houses that we choose to cocoon ourselves, they create more definitions, and more definitions create more divisions. And the more divided we are, it becomes chaotic. We spend our lives fighting each other instead of experiencing this life as a holistic being. For me, all I've always wanted to experience life as a holistic being, not limited by race, not limited by culture, my language, name, title. That's why I don't like titles like doctor, advocate, professor, because it limits people, to certain, dogma. And from there, they cannot think outside the box. They cannot think outside that ideology or that definition that they've chosen to impose on themselves. But human beings are more than what we found here on earth, because we are continuous. Yeah, sometimes I'm forced to, respond to my challenges, that I experience on day to day. But human beings are beyond this physical realm. And one more thing, I listened to, who's this guy? Stuart Wilder. He was talking about infinite possibility. I listened to David Icke. I think he's read some of the materials, Stuart Wilder, where he talks about the infinite possibility. So Stuart Wilder, his source, it becomes Hinduism. He says Hinduism is far more closer to what he believes. David Icke quotes Sumerian, Babylonian religion as the source of all. I have a problem with that narrative again, because people will say, infinite possibility, but they don't go beyond certain levels. They don't go beyond certain geographical boundaries. Most European scholars, they trace their civilization from Greece, Babylon. They are very, calculative. I don't know whether it's calculative. They are reluctant to go to Egypt. They are reluctant to go to Sudan. They are reluctant to go to Ethiopia. They will trace Christianity from other sources and say Christianity copied and pasted some of the Sumerian, Babylonian, whatever doctrine found in Europe. But while we all know that Egypt is the oldest, Sudan is the oldest, and at that time, Sudan, Egypt, Ethiopia, it used to be black. Those countries were black. So whenever you hear Egyptologian or Egyptologist, European scholars, they are reluctant, to go to Egypt or attribute the achievement of Egypt to black pharaohs. That's where it creates a problem. When someone is telling you that I'm limitless, but he limits himself to Europe. For me, I'm open. Can go beyond Egypt. That's why, for now, we're told, until evidence to the contrary emerges, that people of the sun, the Khoisan, the Nama, the Khoa, they were the first people. They were the first people here, until a contrary evidence is found. I'm accepting that. Until something better is found. But still, my belief is that we are limitless. There's a place where we all come from. where religion don't matter, where skin color don't matter, where ideology don't matter, where economic system don't matter. There's a place where we all come from.